शुरू करते हैं. Let's begin. Shri Chakra Vasini Devi Namaste. Shivakama Sundari Devi Namaste. Shri Krishna Sodari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Padmadala Lochani Devi Namaste. Bhakta Paripalini Devi Namaste. Parvat Vartini Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Karuna Vilasini Devi Namaste. Katyayani Gauri Devi Namaste. Kadamba Vanvasini Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Shakti Parameshwari Devi Namaste. Shambhuman Mohini Devi Namaste. Shankari Kripakari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Annapurneshwari Devi Namaste. Akhilandeshwari Devi Namaste. Abhaya Pradayini Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Satya Swarupini Devi Namaste. Sadguru Rupini Devi Namaste. Dharma Swarupini Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Akhanda Paripurini Devi Namaste. Adi Parashakti Devi Namaste. Akhila Paripalini Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Anatha Rakshaki Devi Namaste. Saubhagyadayini Devi Namaste. Santana Palprade Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Ai Bhuvaneshwari Devi Namaste. Shri Vidya Rupini Devi Namaste. Shakti Swarupini Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajeshwari Devi Namaste. Very, just mute your mics, just letting you know. We are very blessed. Only when special blessings from Bhagwan comes and Ma Lalita comes, then we can, we are inspired to sit and to listen this beautiful story of Lord Dattatreya. We are reading from a book from a section called Uddhav Gita. People think Uddhav Gita is something else. Uddhav Gita is a part of Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. It comes in the 11th canto. Before Sri Krishna was leaving this planet, he was speaking to Uddhav and he gave the Gita one more time. In that conversation, he has explained about Dattatreya. When we read our Bhagavad Gita, there Bhagwan is not talking about any devotees. No examples he has given. He takes an example of one devotee in the Bhagavad Gita that we read every Thursday, Friday, Saturday. He takes example of Janak. But that is only in one line he has given, like Janak. But here in Uddhav Gita, he is talking about Dattatreya Bhagwan directly. So we are very lucky to hear about Dattatreya, Guru Dattatreya from Lord Krishna's mouth. The way we are hearing Bhagavad Gita there, same we are hearing Uddhav Gita, and in Uddhav Gita we are hearing about Lord Dattatreya. We have discussed about Lord Dattatreya. Lord Dattatreya had given knowledge to Prahlad, Parshuram. Lord Dattatreya has 24 gurus. In today's class, I think in Chaitanya Charitamrita class, I discussed about the 5 types of gurus. Because there's always a confusion with regarding gurus. People have a lot of questions. In Kali Yuga, gurus, they talk. People become gurus, but they talk different things and only make their students confused. But as per our scriptures, and as per Vaishnava Sampradaya also, okay, and other Sampradayas too, there are 5 types of gurus. One is Path Pradarshak Guru. Okay, the one who is guiding you, who has given you guidance. So you meet many saints in your life, many people in your life, from whom you have learned certain lessons, certain situations in your life, from where you learned what to do and what not to do. Not every guru is going to take you spiritually. Some gurus are going to take you in some other direction too. But you learned. They were guidance always. They were your mentors. If somebody has to learn business, if he is getting into a startup, he can get mentoring from a person who knows business. So they are mentors. So those are your Path Pradarshak Guru. Similarly, in the field of spirituality, when you start exploring, sometimes you might have gone into some sampradaya, some sect, then you have gone into other sect, then you have some other knowledge from past. So you go exploring, and then they will show you they will guide you. Okay, this path, that path. But you don't stick there, it happens. So those gurus in the past who guided you like this and brought you to a certain guru, those gurus are Path Pradarshak Gurus, the one who showed you the path. All right? Then you meet gurus who are Shravan Gurus. Shravan Guru means you have never met those gurus. Like online, you hear so many gurus. You start the YouTube and there are hundreds of gurus there. You listen to all of them. But you won't meet them. They have never mentored you. You heard some things, you liked some things, you remembered some things, you shared some things. And they helped you in some way or the other to give you some clear conscience or clear whatever, questions were in their head at that moment, momentary. And then after time, you forget them. You heard it, you forgot. Sometimes you you like some gurus and like for days you'll be hearing them. And after a while, you're like, okay, I'm done. You don't want to hear it. Sometimes it will so happen that you see the video and you'll off it because it is an overdose for you. So Shravan Gurus. So you heard, you learned some things, and then you went ahead. And then maybe again you will go and learn from them. No problem. So Path Pradarshak Guru, Shravan Guru. Then there are Siksha Gurus. Siksha Gurus are you're actually meeting them. You're learning from them the scriptures. You go to their classes. Whatever you want to learn. Say if you want to learn Saundarya, you have learned from some teacher. For me, like Saundarya, I didn't know. So there was one lady who used to come to my home. She was the first one who introduced me to Saundarya. I learned from her and she used to sing every sloka in different raga. She was a South Indian, so she knew ragas. Raga and all, I don't know. But I learned from her, and she had learned from Shankracharya Matam in South. So, Siksha Guru, you see, how to learn the Sanskrit slokas also. So there are Siksha Gurus, then there are Diksha Gurus. We take Dikshas. Now here there is always a confusion, okay? Because in today's world, the disciples do not question. They go and take initiation from, sometimes there is a, we call it Bhed Chal. Bhed Chal means where the flock of sheep are going, we just follow that. So people, they go to these big organizations or, they meet their social circle and the social circle is following some guru and then they feel, oh, this is my guru. Because my social circle is doing, I should also follow this guru. Because everybody else is saying this guru is right, I must follow that guru. And people follow. Very common in today's world. And they go and they take initiation, Diksha Guru. They take a mantra also. And many years later, they are neither doing the mantra nor are they able to associate with the guru. They never got a chance in their life to associate with the guru or even to sit and ask and question. Just they got the Diksha, that's it. One is Siksha, at least you're sitting with the guru and you're learning. One is just taking Diksha. and not being able to meet your Guru at all, not being able to communicate with him. Because there are, whatever, every organization is different. Every organization is, the bigger the organization, the more difficult it is to meet the Guru. So every organization is different. So you're not able to get your doubts cleared. And then you have in between counselors, and counselors are just like you. Counselors are themselves learning. Maybe they must have learned a little more than you because they are sincerely following the books. But your doubts never get cleared. But the counselors will go on telling you, oh, Diksha Guru, now you have taken a Diksha, you should not go here and there. And this creates confusion. Many times I meet students who are literally confused. So what about them? And sometimes people have in the past followed gurus. You see gurus are caught in scandals and put into jails. And they have big fan following. And I have met, growing up, I know people like this. So when a big fan following is following a certain guru and the guru is in the jail, imagine the state of mind of the disciples. For years, they have given their life to this guru. And suddenly, the guru is in the jail for whatever scandals. It is very difficult for the disciples to accept. It is like shaking your belief, like you made a wrong decision, such a big wrong decision in your life. Because you just went on in that path because everybody else was doing it. What were your reasons to go on the path? Maybe your whatever reasons would be, Some people have reasons like, oh, I had this desire and I thought of this guru and my desire got fulfilled. Some people are in distress. So I was in distress. So my distress got solved because I thought of this guru. Some people are, just by keeping the photo in my house, me and my husband were fighting, but just by keeping the photo, the fights have stopped. Little things. This is what, based on this, people choose gurus. And they believe. And they take initiation. So this Diksha Guru, this is a thing which is common. So when I'm telling, like when a guru is in a scandal, is in the jail, what about all these disciples there? They are shaken, they're disturbed. It's like if you're in a married life, you give all your life to the person whom you love, and then you come to know the person whom I loved was not that good a person. The whole family, everything gets shaken. But even then, the disciples will be like, no, this is just a conspiracy against my guru. They are not ready to believe. And then there are some who will believe, okay, maybe my guru fell down. Now what? So I have been into groups where the counselors will be telling me, you all have to pray for the guru now. And I'm like, but everybody came to get blessing from the guru. Now we have to save the guru. What then? So these things I've seen all this, so many things in my life being everywhere. So, but real saints when I met, especially the saints of Vrindavan, some of them were very, very nice and who keep away from the crowd and organization, and they're not even popular. One good thing they would do is when I would put this question that this is happening in the world, I'm just coming from the world, which you have completely disconnected with. People are following gurus and the gurus are falling down, and their chelas are telling the students now to pray for the guru because the guru has fallen down. And then they give examples of other gurus too. So what should the disciple do under such circumstances? What about the faith? If it is shaken, should he just go on, continuing with that blind faith he had, even after the things are coming in front of his eyes, he's not able to accept? What do you do? So these gurus are very kind to me, They took out Puranas in front of me. At that time, I was learning myself. I was a student. So I'm still not able to remember which exact Purana, probably Srimad Bhagavad or Skanda or somewhere. He quoted a shloka from there. That after making some Diksha Guru initiation, if you get, and in future, if you find, one thing is you don't have trust in the mantra. You did the mantra, but you don't have trust. Now your mind is telling me I have to change my guru. So this guru explained to me that if your mind has already thought, you have changed my guru, it is done. So don't just cling on to that old thought, oh, now what? Your mind has already thought it. There is something lacking. even after the initiation. And you're not doing the mantra, but still if you feel like, oh no, what should I do? Then chant the mantra 1 mala or 2 mala. Like at that time, there was another lady who wanted to chant a different mantra. She wanted to chant Yugal mantra. So we were 2-3 people were there. We were asking questions. So this lady said, I had another guru who's no more in body, but that guru had given me some other mantra of some other god. But since I could not associate with my guru so much, now I want to chant some other mantra because my interest is in some other mantra. Can I chant? Does this disturb my faith in my guru? Because my guru is no more. I only got the initiation, and after that my guru left the body. So what do I do? So this guru was trying to explain to us that because you have the faith in that guru, in this path, it's the faith that matters. In this path, if you have taken the faith, the mantra from your guru and your guru has left and you could not get association, so no worries, you still feel like I should chant that mantra, chant 1 mala. And then you are interested in some other form now, and you feel like this mantra I want to chant, then follow that, then chant that other mantra. Because both mantras were right, okay, mantras were right. You chant the other mantras because your faith is what is going to define you further. So beyond the Diksha Guru, there's a 5th Guru, which is called Chaitya Guru, which is inside your heart. He came to this point. He said, you got a Diksha mantra, but because you're not getting the satsanga, that bhakti will not become strong. You're not getting that fence, that support, that watering. So that bhakti will not become strong. But inside your heart, your Chaitya Guru is inspiring you to worship this particular form. Then worship it. No problem. Then another person, my guru fell down. What do I do next? No problem. You can leave the guru. If your heart is confused, conflicted, then the example he took out from the sloka from the Purana itself. He said, see, here it is written very clear. If the heart is conflicted and if the guru has fallen down and if your heart is conflicted, then there is no sin in leaving that guru, even though you got initiated from them. And next level, you are initiated, but you're not learning, but you feel like you met somebody else with whom you're learning. Then you can go further in that journey. Because if the guru is true, all gurus know one thing. How much they, whatever they needed to grow in this path. Every soul deserves that. Nobody should be tied to beliefs, superstitions, fearfully accepting a guru. Nobody should be tied like that. Being tied is bandhan. A guru is a muktatma. He knows the importance of being free from beliefs even. His mind is free. Guru knows the importance of freedom. Freedom from belief, freedom from dogmas, freedom from blind faith, freedom from superstition. Guru knows till what level these are there and they bother the devotee or the sadhak, the practitioner. So Guru will always give the student the freedom. And Guru will always nourish the inquisitiveness, the curiosity of the student. And because, see, finally a Guru is also in a human body. It is very difficult sometimes to believe the human body. So Guru will take out books. Guru will not only give the initiation. In today's world, people take initiation, but no siksha. No siksha, no knowledge. That whole system, I feel like, has confused so many. You give an initiation and you don't give the knowledge, what's the point? And just because, and the student is like, oh, I've taken initiation, now this is what it is. What's the point? How will you grow? A true guru does not, I'm telling you, gurus don't want disciples. Gurus want their disciples to become gurus. How will that happen? If I got a knowledge, I got a siksha from my teachers, I would want you all to get it. The way I experience things, the joy in my mind, the freedom in my head. I want you all to experience that. You have no idea what that is. How do I do that? Just give you a mantra and say, no, I'm just not going to happen. I'll pour in my life's experience to you. How many gurus I have been to? And because I was sincere on the path, very sincere, I'm telling you, my heart cried every time, for God alone. There was only one passion, God alone. And I knew God alone, He did everything for me. I trust that process. When you cry and cry like this, God, how will I see you? When will I see you? And God says, I'll show you through my devotees. First you be with them. First you learn from them. First you see their ways. But God, this world is not, when you see gurus falling, when you see the media, when you see the news. I was once in Shuktaal, first trip to Shuktaal, and there's a big ashram, Dandi ashram, very beautiful ashram. I go and stay there. That was my first time in India. So one of my friends calls me, where are you? Because they were my friends, they were very careful about me because I'm come to India and I'm traveling alone. I had a friend with me, a lady friend. But people are, generally, they wanted to care that you're coming for first time. You don't know what Indians are. And where are you? I said, I'm in an ashram. This friend is like, okay. So how many people are there in the ashram? I said, nobody. Just the person who takes care of the ashram, his wife, and maybe some Gurukul students are there. That's all. He's like, you have no idea. You're staying there alone with you and your friend. You have no idea what gurus are here. I said, what gurus? You have no idea. He's like, do you see the news? What happens? I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't see the news. I just trust in God. We'll see what happens. But then after keeping the phone, I realized what is the minds of the people. The news, the media talk so much. And there are incidents like that also. I'm not disagreeing with that. But there are good people also. There are good saints also. That night when I was in Shuktaal, after keeping all this phone down and hearing all this conversation, I went back, I sat down, I meditated. Then 9:30 in the night, me and my friend, we said, okay, let's go for a walk. And while we were walking, the person who took care of that ashram, Dandi ashram, he came down. And he's like, Mataji, I want you to meet one saint. I'm like, one saint? Yeah, sure. I'm like, he's in the ashram? He's like, yeah, come, I'll take you. The ashram is very big. And then I went and met the saint. That saint never comes out. He lives in the Dandi ashram. Nobody will know except for the person who's taking care of the ashram and the locals over there. Whole day he's in his room. He's only chanting Bhagwan's name. In the night he comes out so that the world doesn't disturb him. And he takes care of the cows and he does his cow seva. And then when we two ladies went there, he spoke so nicely to us. He gave us, and for me, every time I meet some saint, I'm like, please do some satsanga. I'm here only for satsanga. And I had the opportunity to get that satsanga from him. And when he spoke in that 1 hour of speaking, I learned so much. When I read about Dattatreya, I have seen not one Dattatreya, many Dattatreys like this. When Bhagwan Buddha says, I am not the only Buddha that happened. He says, before me also there were Buddhas. I am a Buddha and beyond me also there will be Buddhas. Same way with Dattatreya. He's giving us an example. Anybody can be like him. It's not only just him. Anybody can be like him. And all the saints I have met, they are like that. Avadut means real Avadut. Not craving for followers or people or anything. When we read today in the Chaitanya Charitamrita class, I read the story of Haridas Thakur. What a beautiful story. What an inspiring story. Spending their life, Haridas Thakur didn't live in a cave. He was living in Odisha. But entire day somebody is chanting and in the end he's remembering God and he's leaving. What kind of passing away? What glorious. Such saints still exist. They are not popular. They are not on YouTube. I have asked some of the saints I used to meet. I'm like, can I just do some recording? And they're like, no, Didi, no, please. No, Ma, please. Then you have to respect. And sometimes I forget also. And, when I was traveling at that time, there were no cell phones, no smartphones. And for many years, I didn't even buy a smartphone. So But those moments, spending with some saints like this, when I read the story, I really feel like, I feel very grateful that there are still good saints. I have not taken any diksha from them, but the siksha. One saint I met, he went on speaking some beautiful stuff, and I asked him, how do you know? My first question was like, because I am an educated person, so I will ask like an educated person. So I said, how do you know this? Which school did you go? Did you learn Sanskrit? And this saint says, oh, Didi. In his language, there's a native language, a very typical native language, not even Hindi. But since I'm speaking in English, I'll just tell what he said. He said, oh, Didi, forget about Sanskrit. I've never even gone to school. And I'm like, never even gone to school. And the way you're speaking, all the knowledge, all the essence of the scriptures, what I have learned in Gita, you're speaking in your native language. And then he showed me a book, 3 books he had written. 25 dohas. Dohas means couplets. Written means he has spoken and somebody else has written. He said, I spoke this and somebody wrote for me, and then I showed it to my Guru. My Guru was very happy. And he said, and then I said, how did you write it? How did it occur to you? He's like, my Guru because he said, I met my Guru one day and I told, Guruji, you have so many good people. They know how to learn. They know how to read. I don't know anything. My Guru said, don't worry. You have the faith. They have faith in their learning, but you have faith in me. And my Guru just wrote Ram on my forehead. And since then, I only think that Ramji is here. And I go on speaking. And some of my people who hear me, they wrote it down for me. So that's how people get knowledge. Just by having faith. We study and study and study, but yet to develop that simplicity of the heart is so difficult. We are so, and in today's world, Diksha, Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Siksha Guru, and all those Guru, fundas of Guru, people have made up reading books and misled themselves and misleading others. But here, I have met saints who have not done anything. But yet, they have got the highest knowledge just by trusting their Guru. And the Gurus, their Guru, nobody will ever know. I will never go and see. I don't know where that Guru is. Some of the saints I've met on streets, in Kumbh Melas. I don't even know their addresses now. They just came, they just met. We spoke. It's like traveling in a train. I tell you, this life is like train only for me. Traveling in a train and you meet somebody and you learn something. After that, you won't even see. So different type of Gurus are there. So I'm taking up this topic because Dattatreya has 24 Gurus. So one is Path Pradarshak Guru, who guides you on the path. One is Shravan Guru, from whom you listen, you gain. One is Siksha Guru, from whom you learn scriptures. Even your school Guru, you go to school teachers, they were your Siksha Gurus. Mother, father, they were your Gurus. Your friends are also Gurus at times. Then comes the Diksha Guru, who initiates you. And out of all these 4 Gurus, there's a one biggest Guru, Krishna Bande Jagat Guru, who is your Chaitya Guru, who is in your heart. He will always give you that discriminative power. Even if sometimes people fall in the trap of the wrong Guru, but the hard Guru, Chaitya Guru, who is Krishna, if a devotee is sincere, if a practitioner is sincere and asking for the correct guidance, this Chaitya Guru inside, he will give you that guidance and he will take you to that right spot where you know, okay, this is perfect. Now there is no more confusion. And you see that. I'm telling you this all from my own life experience. I've gone through it. Met cheater Gurus, met the Gurus who were just Diksha Gurus, just only Diksha Gurus. That's it. Nothing else. Then I met Shiksha Gurus. I've met all sorts of Gurus. But the biggest Guru is Chaitya Guru. But how do you connect with Chaitya Guru? And where is he speaking? Well, he's speaking through the Bhagavad Gita. He's speaking through Bhagavatam. He's speaking through Srimad Mahabhagavat Mahapuran, which we are reading right now. It is very difficult to understand the essence of these. That is why a human guru is required. But once the human guru gives it, my guru used to teach me one thing. My Vaishnava guru. He says the human guru also should have only one goal. He should be Krishnarthi. Krishnarthi means the goal is Krishna. Arth means goal, desire. So the human guru should also be Krishnarthi. And the disciple also has to be Krishnarthi. It's both the goal of both the guru and the disciple. Guru means teacher. The goal of the teacher and the disciple should be one. How to be with Krishna. If both have that mindset, and then they are reading Krishna's words, which is a Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. That's it. Done. Then Krishna will take care of everything. He will give the pure knowledge, the way it has to be transmitted in the disciple's heart. Krishna lives in everybody's heart. But if the disciple and the guru are only aiming for Krishna, then Krishna will give the correct knowledge through his words, which is in these books. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuranam, Srimad Bhagavatam, or Bhagavad Gita. 2 books, again and again I'm trying to say. Let me make you again. This is Bhagavad Gita, small one. This is Srimad Bhagavatam. These 2 books. When Krishna left the planet, he said to Uddhav, "Oh Uddhav, I'm going to live in these books. This is my form." So when I'm touching these 2 books, Krishna himself. Getting it? All right. So 5 types of gurus today you came to know. The one who will guide you, Path Pradarshak, your guide. Second, Shravan Guru, from whom you listen by listening. Third is Shiksha Guru, from whom you learn. Fourth is Diksha Guru, who initiates you. And fifth is Chaitya Guru, who is in all these gurus. He is the one Guru, Krishna Mande Jagat Guru. All right. So that Chaitya Guru is talking to us through Srimad Bhagavatam. He has appeared to us in Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are learning about Bhagwan Dattatreya. Bhagwan Dattatreya last time spoke about his 5 gurus, starting with earth. From earth we learn to be patient. And then comes another guru who is air, Vayu. From air we learn that air does not become, when air goes through a garden or rose garden, it will pick up the aroma of the rose. If it goes through garbage, it will pick up the scent of the garbage, smell of the garbage. So, but saying that the air is pure by itself. Similarly, we are pure souls. Dattatreya's teaching revolves around soul. The 2nd chapter of Gita that we are learning starts from soul. All spirituality starts from soul. And Dattatreya's teaching is on soul. And Dattatreya's teaching specifically is for Gyanis, knowledgeable people. Okay? And he starts from soul and he says the soul is always pure. A person who is walking on this path should always meditate like this. We are living in this world. We have interactions daily from this body. But even after saying that, the soul, we are pure under all circumstances, just like the air is pure under all circumstances. Soul is like the air. Okay, so he's saying that. The other name for soul is Brahma. So this Brahma is like just the air. All right. So, and on earth, for earth, he also said, a sober person, even when harassed by other living beings, should understand that his aggressors are acting helplessly under the control of God, and thus he should never be distracted from progress on his own path. This rule I have learned from the earth. Very important rule on the path of spirituality. We are learning from Canto 11, Chapter 7, Slok number 37 onwards. So when we are on the path, people may behave very cruel to us. Still, we have to be very controlled, and we have to know that they are behaving according to their own nature. We should not take it seriously and not contaminate our mind. Okay. And we should be working for the welfare of others always, just like the tree and the mountains. And then we should take satisfaction in whatever comes by its own accord, and not seek too much of sense gratification. And then, in other words, one should care for the material body in such a way that one's higher knowledge is not destroyed and one's speech and mind are not deviated from self-realization. Even a transcendentalist is surrounded by innumerable material objects, which possesses good and bad qualities. However, one who has transcended material good and evil should not become entangled even when in contact with the material objects. Rather, he should act like the wind. Okay. Although a self-realized soul may live in various material bodies, while in this world experiencing their various qualities and functions, he is never entangled, just as the wind, which carries various aromas, does not actually mix with them. So the Gyanis, or the self-realized souls, or Sthita Pragya, as we are discussing in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 now, all of them have these qualities. They may go into different bodies, but they are still separate from the bodies. Shankracharya defeated everybody when in arguments, Vedic arguments. But when he went to Mandan Mishra's home in Kashi, Mandan Mishra was a great Vedic scholar of that time, and there was a big debate. And Shankracharya even defeated him. Then Mandan Mishra's wife came. And wife said, I am his better half. We say, better half. So you just spoke to my half, I am the better half. Start the debate with me too. Shankracharya says, okay, mother, let's begin. Mandan Mishra's wife knew how to defeat him. She asked him questions related to man-woman interaction, which is called Kama Shastra. In India, Kama means the man-woman relation or sex, as we say, but that also is considered as a Shastra. Shastra means scriptures. We don't say sex. When the moment we say sex, it becomes like very animalistic. But we talk of sex also as there is a book, Kama Shastra. We think sex also as a means to transcend beyond these animalistic tendencies and reach the higher God. So Shankracharya is talking about that higher self. Advaita. And Mandan Mishra's wife brought him to the point of Dvaita. What about a man-woman copulation? You're talking about Advaita, untouched, this, that. I understand. Talk about this Kama Shastra. When a man and woman are starting their family, they are going to be interacting. Talk about this. Now, that was a subject which Shankracharya didn't know. He was not a family man. He had not married. He didn't have a wife. He didn't know. So he lagged in one Shastra, Kama Shastra. That was his minus. And then he accepted defeat. He said, Ma, I am sorry. I accept defeat. I do not know about this science. But through you, I know I will come back again. I'll prepare. I'll come back again. Mother said, okay. Now this became a healthy debate. Now this has become mother-son. Mother said, okay. And then Shankracharya leaves there, and then he tells his disciples, he calls his disciples, he says, I have to understand that also, but my soul is pure, my body is pure in this life, it cannot be made impure at all. So if any kingly person has died here, let me know. I will get into that kingly person's body and I'll experience the the life, the sense gratification, life of sense gratification through that person, to that person's body. And then I'll come back to my body. And then I'll give the due credit to mother. So Shankracharya left his body was preserved by his disciples, and then his soul, he transferred into a dead king's soul, and the soul king became alive, and he lived a kingly life for a few days, enjoying with his queens and all the kingly pleasures, whatever the sense gratifications were. He lived a kingly life for 1 week, enjoyed everything, understood everything, and then he came back to his body, and then he went to Mandan Mishra's wife, and he discussed the thing, and then he was blessed by her, that Vijayi Bhava, be always victorious. This story not many people know. Sometimes people ask me, were there no women who were self-realized? Yes, there were women like Mandan Mishra's wife who knew. So here when they say, although a self-realized soul may live in various material bodies, Shankracharya lived in a pure body. He transferred in his soul in a material body, but he came out of it because that body did something. He was always pure. He was always pure. So soul, on a soul level, we are always pure, no matter wherever we live. So a person who is walking in this path never loses this thought. He is always pure under all circumstances. Got it? So this is just like the wind. Then the next one he says, a thoughtful sage, even while living within a material body, should understand himself to be a pure spirit soul. Similarly, one should see that the spirit soul enters into all forms of life. First of all, I am a spirit soul. I am pure. Same spirit soul is in all forms of life. So I look at a dog. The body is dirty. Animal body. But the soul is the same as my soul. If I am pure, that soul is also pure. I look at a pig. The body is dirty. But same soul inside. I look at a tree. Same soul inside. Everywhere, wherever I see, I look at a fish, same soul. I look at my enemy, same soul. I look at my friend, same soul. They may be behaving weirdly. They talk, they gossip, they're drinking, they're eating, they're doing what all things they're doing. Whatever they're doing, it's from the external body. But internally, soul, their soul and my soul, same in quality. We are just like one. I am on the path of realization, or I have realized. They are yet not realized. But if somebody starts seeing like this, everything is the same person, the same soul everywhere, then the distinction of the body goes away. Then there is no enemy and there is no loved one. Then you see yourself everywhere. This is one way to train your mind. This is the way of Jnana. This is the way of Atma Yoga. This is the way of Sankhya Yoga. Okay. Similarly, one should see the spirit soul enters within all forms of life, both moving and non-moving. Now here one thing, non-moving. Okay, I understand soul is in the living being. So the symptom of the soul is consciousness. So the body dies, we say soul is gone. But what about the non-living things? Does it also have consciousness? Yes. Everything has consciousness. Everything. If that was not the case, you have heard, if you open geography books, you'll see big mountains in the past. They've reduced to nothing. What happened? What made it disintegrate? Mountains got finished. You take a rock, you keep it for 10,000 years. One day it will disintegrate into dust. It will break. Even without doing anything, it will break, disintegrate. How? Some conscious energy is there. And from simple scientific terms, if you try to understand, whatever thing you see solid in this world, it appears to as solid. But from a scientific viewpoint, if you see, everything is made up of atoms and molecules, and these atoms are in constant motion. Constant motion. When you blink your eyes, within that second, millions of atoms are created and gone, constantly in state of motion. What appears to you as non-living, in that non-living things, constantly in the state of motion. The Atma realization, when we talk, this is what is happening. This is what is happening. Everything is in a constant state of motion. There is no such thing called solid. Everything is just waves and wavelets and wavelets. And this is what it is. And that wavelets, nobody is able to define. Some say anatma. Some say consciousness. Some say atma. But everything, when we say the atma means atom, atomic soul, atom. Everything is wavelet. And within a blink of your eyes, in that second, so many wavelets are coming and going and coming and going and coming and going. And that is why big mountains, they take long time to disintegrate. Humans, they take lesser time to disintegrate. A butterfly takes 3 days to disintegrate. Our body takes 85 years to disintegrate. Mountains may take 1,000 years to disintegrate. Oceans will take millions of years to disintegrate. But everything just goes on and then changes and then comes back, changes, comes back. And that is why, this was the reason why our scripture said everything is Bhagwan. When we look at Govardhan, we'll say, okay, this is Govardhan, means this is Krishna. When we see ocean, we'll say, oh, Vishnu. When we see the sky, of course, Bhagwan. Kailasha, Lord Shiva. For us, the real essence of scripture, for a selfless soul, everything is pure consciousness. And everything is in motion. There is no such thing called solid thing. It is everywhere. That particle, that Brahma Tattva is everywhere, in every person, in living and in non-living. Buddha realized this. He gave the message to people. Scientists have realized in their own way. But final realization is this, that the same consciousness or the superconscious energy, which is called Brahma, Parabrahma. When it comes in this body, it becomes Brahma. When it is outside everywhere, it is called Parabrahma. The same energy is everywhere. Brahma, Parabrahma, Atma, Paramatma. And then Bhakta Bhagwan. So here, maybe the class is going too scientific, but this is what it is. The sage should further observe that the Bhagwan, that the super personality of Godhead as the super soul is simultaneously present within all being. Both the individual soul and the super soul can be, then he gives an example. Both the soul and the super soul can be understood by comparing them to the nature of the sky. Although the sky extends everywhere and everything rests within the sky does not mix with anything, nor can it be divided by anything. Sky is everywhere. I'm sitting in this chair. I'm surrounded by sky element. Sky is up. Sky is in this room. If I go away from there, sky is still there. Every space that you see, sky element is there. Sky is undivided. Sky is always there. Similarly, soul, the Parabrahma, is undivided. It is everywhere. Therefore, all the five, when people ask you example, those who are making notes and those who like to argue and debate with others, understand the concepts first. Brahma. Sky is Brahma. Earth is Brahma. Water is Brahma. All the five elements is Brahma. That element is always going to remain. Then this element, these five elements, they join together. And then they become humans, animals, plants. And in them, there is one more energy that is going there. It's called Prana Shakti, Chitta Shakti, conscious energy. So this is also always going to be there. And that is what is making the living beings and the non-living beings. So person who has understood this science is an Avadhut, not by name. So here he is saying, one should understand that this is the beginning steps. You are like the pure soul who is just like the sky. The soul is everywhere. It is just like the sky. It is inside you and it is outside you. When Gautam Buddha realized, this is what was his realization. He did not know what name to give. He did not give the name Atma. So he invented his own name. Attakalap. Link. Kalap means link. He realized the way to explain, because the explanation is the hardest part. If you say Atma, then again the confusion starts. As I told you many times, people say Atma means Bhut, ghost, spirit, soul. But here he is trying to explain, no, it is that energy, that conscious energy, but how? Or is it Brahma, Paramatma, what? He says, no, everything is divided, everything is made up of this four elements in which the space is there and that consciousness ties everything. So 4 elements is earth, water, fire, and in between space is there. This is Attakalap, and everything, whatever you see, living or non-living, this is surrounded by these wavelets of consciousness. This is what it is. And that is why when you experience that, that's the nirvana experience. That's nirvana. And that nirvana, what he said was Sayujya, Mukti, what our books mentioned. But here, same thing, Avadhut Dattatreya is saying. Same thing is saying. You are pure soul, you are just like the sky is everywhere. You are here in this body right now. When the body will leave, you will still be there, just like the sky is everywhere. Soul is going to be everywhere, like that. All right. And then we discussed the size of the soul already. Although the mighty wind blows clouds and storms across the sky is never implicated or affected by these activities. Similarly, the spirit soul is not actually changed or affected by contact with material nature. Although the living entity enters within the body made of earth, water, and fire, although he is compelled by 3 modes of material nature created by eternal time, his eternal spirit nature is never actually affected. O king, a saintly person is just like the water. He is free from all contamination, gentle by nature, and by speaking creates a beautiful vibration like that of flowing water. Just by touching and seeing or hearing such a saintly person, the living entity is purified, just as one is cleansed by contact with pure water. Thus, a saintly person, just like a holy place, purifies all those who contact him because he always chants the glories of the Lord. So here he is glorified saintly person. Swachha Prakrita Snigdho, how is a saintly person? He is like water. Water purifies your external. So saintly person, if you talk to them, you sit with them, they speak so nicely, so sweetly, that just by hearing their speech, you also get purified. So here he says, Swachha Prakrita Snigno Madhurya Stirtha Bhurnidam. That person who can speak clearly, he is pure by nature. Snigdha, he is soft-hearted. He is full of madhurya, means full of gentle, sweet speech. And Tirthabhu, Nidam, that kind of person, if you meet, he is like a living pilgrimage. Pilgrimage is like a holy place. People go to holy places, right? What's the point of holy places if you don't meet the saints? So he says, any person who is like this, pure by heart, speaks nicely, if you happen to meet that person is like a holy place. Muni punati apam mitram, such a muni, such a contemplator who is always situated in his heart, not only purifies himself, he purifies everyone. He is friendly to everybody, and by seeing him, or if somebody respectfully touches him, upasparsha, even by touching him, they say everybody gets purified, and therefore one must always glorify such saintly devotees. Then he goes on saying, saintly persons become powerful by execution of austerities. So you don't become saintly just by talking sweetly. By performing tapasya. Tejasvi tapasa dipto. He performs tapasya. He performs austerities. And because of the austerities, he becomes brilliantly luminous, glowing. He is unshakable. He has certain qualities. He can control the urges of his tongue. He eats whatever comes. And he is fixed in spiritual life. He's just like the fire, because he's always doing tapasya. So he's just like the fire, pure always. Saintly persons become powerful by execution of austerities. Their consciousness is unshakable because they do not try to enjoy anything within the material world. Such naturally liberated sages accept foodstuffs that are offered to them by destiny. And if by chance they happen to eat contaminated food, they are not affected. Just like fire, which burns up contaminated substances that are offered to it. A saintly person, just like fire, sometimes appears in a concealed form, other time he reveals himself. For the welfare of the conditioned souls who desire real happiness, a saintly person may accept the worshipful position of a spiritual master. And thus, like fire, he burns to ashes all the past and future sinful reactions of his worshippers by mercifully accepting their offerings. So saintly person, their nature is they will become teachers to help only others who are looking for a solution to their life in which they are burning. Saintly person is already like a fire. He is the bigger fire. But his fire is fire of knowledge. And other people are burning in this fire of world. So what he does, he just gives them the knowledge. So that by accepting that knowledge of Gita, if one knows Gita, they know the root cause of their suffering, they will burn everything, all their sinful reactions. Okay, so here he is saying a saintly person does not need to do all this. He is already always pure, but yet sometimes they will accept the position of a spiritual teacher to help other conditioned living beings who are suffering. And thereby they impart such knowledge by which the followers or the disciples will burn all their sinful reaction of the past and the present karmas. How? By giving the knowledge, by accepting the knowledge, and by practicing the knowledge, like we are learning in Gita, or like we are learning from Uddhav Gita. Okay, so just as fire manifests itself in different pieces of wood of different sizes and qualities, the omnipotent supreme soul, having entered the bodies of fire and lower life forms created by his own potency, appears to assume the identity of each. The various phases of one's material life, beginning with birth and culminating in death, are all properties of the body and do not affect the soul. Just as the apparent waxing and waning of the moon does not affect the moon itself, such changes are enforced by the imperceptible movements of time. So till now he took all the 5 elements, earth, water, fire. He said, like the fire, a saintly person is like a fire. always pure. He may come like in fire, whatever you put in fire. If you put some garbage, it will burn it off, make it into ashes. If you put some good food, it will burn it off. So saintly person is like that. He's like fire. Wherever he sits, wherever he goes, he never gets contaminated. His austerity is so high that even if somebody tries to throw them their trash, they will burn. So saintly person is always pure. The soul is always pure. So this was from fire. Then he goes to the moon. He says, I learned from the moon. The moon is waxing and waning. But actually the moon is always the same. It appears so. Similarly, the soul is always the same. It just, whatever is happening to the body, but nothing happens to the soul. Soul is like the moon, and it is covered by this body. Or like the moon, it appears waxing or waning because of the way it is traveling. The moon is traveling. Similarly, everything happens to the body. It is appearing to the body, but nothing happens to the soul. Just like the moon is always the moon, similarly. And then he says, the flames of a fire disappear and appear every moment, and yet this creation and destruction is not noticed by the ordinary observer. Similarly, the mighty waves of times flow constantly like a powerful currents of a river and imperceptibly cause a birth, growth, and death of innumerable material bodies. And yet the soul, who is thus constantly forced to change his position, cannot perceive the actions of time. It is such a beautiful, whatever he's saying, here, he said it in Sanskrit. We read it in English. Same thing Lord Buddha has explained. He has experienced and explained. Exact same thing. There's no difference. When it's like, what he's saying. Mighty waves of time flow constantly. Every second time is flowing and we do not realize. As I said, in a blink of, like you blink your eyes and thousands of atoms are changing. Thousands of cells are dying in your body. Your consciousness is changing. For the past 1 hour, you're seeing me. In that 1 hour, I have changed so much. It is unnoticeable. But in that 1 hour, so many things have happened. So think of your life that you have lived. You have changed so much. Just like the river, every second it is changing. But it appears like one constant thing. Like a lamp. You put a lamp in the night. You see a flame on that. In the morning also the flame will be there. And you think the flame is the same. But actually it is not. It has consumed so much of oil and every second it has changed. You didn't realize. And when the oil is done, the flame will go away. Same way with life. It appears just like that flame. But when the oil is done, means when the time has come, gone. So life is like that. Every second, everything is changing. Just like the flame or just like the water. It is not the same. It will change, but the soul, there is no change. So this body will change, it will come into another body. The flame goes away, you light up another thing, light the candle, again the flame comes back. So soul is like that. Body will change, soul will go, another body. Everywhere, everything, this is how it is. But ordinary people are not able to see, but who is in this path will experience it. This is what it's saying. Like the powerful currents of the river and imperceptibly cause the birth, growth, and death of innumerable material bodies, and yet the soul, who is thus constantly forced to change its position, cannot perceive the actions of time. So I think we will end it up here because time is already up. I just saw the time. So we learned about the moon, and tomorrow we will learn about the sun and other gurus that he has. Let me see your comments and then we will end up the class. I try to finish on time, but the topic is so interesting. I just don't feel like, I just forget the time. Okay, Gaurav writes, Ma, you always quote about saints of Vrindavan. Can you please tell about your meeting with pure Tantric gurus whom you met, apart from Baba Bhutnath ji, Bade Guruji and our Guruji? Yeah, sure. As the classes go on, I will definitely, yes. I mentioned about the Aghori ones to you. There are so many others I will mention for sure. Ma, connecting with Chaitya Guru is not always easy. Yeah, that is why you have to have a human guru, satsang, all the other 4 gurus. Getting it? Pat Pradarshak Guru, Shravan Guru, Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Chaitya Guru. All right. But if you read Gita, Krishnam Vande Jagat Guru. Okay. For those who are not able to focus on one particular human form of Guru, they should sincerely read the Gita and sincerely pray to God. And God is the one Chaitya Guru who will make you experience everything. Dear Smita, I am very blessed to hear about Jagat Guru Shankracharya directly from you on this Shankara Jayanti day. Wonderful. So elevated in his knowledge, but he was so humble and wrote such exceptional devotional hymns like Baj Govindam and Sundarari. Yes, yes. Jai Jai Shankara, Hara Hara Shankara. Thank you, Ma. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everybody. And have a very peaceful Krishnamai night. And those who are in daytime, have a Krishnamai day. Jai Shri Krishna, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hari Bol.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Haribol. Thank you.